I need to talk to you guys about something because it's time. And I haven't wanted to talk about this because I don't even want to give the subject and the issue and these people any additional promotion or visibility, but I think it's time. So we're going to talk about the woke right. And I know a lot of people are like, wait, how is that even possible? How can you be woke and on the right? And I'm going to explain. We clearly know what the woke left is. The woke left are people who have fallen into the ideology of Marxism, identity politics, oppressive narratives, things that people that believe that society has been formulated to oppress a certain individual. Usually, in classical Marxism, it was the elites versus the proletariat, the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat, but now it's been taken to all different kinds of things: your race, your skin color, your sexual orientation, whether you're disabled or not. Everything has been turned into an oppressive narrative. This is the spin on classical Marxism, which didn't work because capitalism made everyone too rich and got everyone out of poverty. Not everyone, but a lot of people out of poverty. So nobody wanted to start a revolution. They were too comfortable. They had too much. So this new form of Marxism tells you that you're oppressed in some form or fashion, and that the only way that you can become unoppressed is by destroying the hierarchy, destroying the system, destroying the status quo, and having a revolution, a socialist revolution, where everything is equal, the government hands out things to those who don't, everyone is equal, no one wants to be better than anyone else, which has been tried many times through history and always ends in famine, starvation, and death. That's woke. Woke is having woken up to a view of the world that is systemic and oppressive. That's why they call it having awoken or being woke. Well, unfortunately, because awoke did so well the last 5 years, and they made so many gains in the institutions and Gen Z and the universities and in the minds of people, that certain people on the right have adopted those tactics. Now, on the woke left, they will say that the white man is the oppressor, that anyone who exhibit white qualities is a white supremacist. You don't even have to be white. As long as you support the rule of law, America, and the values of America, then you are a white supremacist. Go figure, right? The woke right is emblematic of certain of the same things. So, for instance, they say that white people are oppressed and that they've been made the victim, and that in order to right that wrong, they have to take the same kinds of strategies or use the same kind of strategies that the woke left did. Now, clearly, white people specifically have been demonized by the left. And not just now, this has been happening for a very long time. But typically you fight that with conservative American patriotic values, like a nuclear family, religion, morality. And the further the left goes, the more extreme they look to most regular people. And that's usually what gets rid of them, unless, they're in a country like, let's say, Vietnam or China or Russia or somewhere where you have to actually fight to get the status quo back. So what they've done is they said, look, there is oppression. The left is right about that. But it's not people of color. It's actually white people. And we are the oppressors. So we have to take the same kind of actions they've taken to win the game. Now, whether that's heritage Americans, whether that terminology is whatever they're concocting, just like the left. The left came up with a million different kinds of terms to try and develop an entirely new language to make you have to learn what they're talking about. The woke right does the exact same thing. They invent terminology. They cancel people. They're collectivists, meaning that everyone has to think the same, and if you think any differently, then you're out of the club. Just like the woke left does. There's no difference. Now, some of those people can be classified as, or are self-classified as, Christian nationalists, alt-right, white supremacist, neo-fascist, whatever it is. And the problem that we're having right now is that MAGA was this massive populist movement that Trump put together, and that's composed of Republicans, libertarians, middle-of-the-road voters, disaffected Democrats, and liberals as well. And it's incredibly hard to keep together such a large portion or a large demographic of the population. It's never lasted for very long. All we have to do is go back to about 2008 and the Tea Party movement. That fizzled out. So there are these movements that start that are incredibly hard to keep together. And MAGA is one of those movements, and people are trying to keep it together. But there are people who want to stand out from the crowd, right? If you were MAGA 2018, 2020, 2022, you were the odd man out, right? So just by you being MAGA, helped you stood out. So if you were doing it for clout, if you were a grifter, if you were doing it for clicks, then that no longer works the way it did. So you have to reinvent yourself. You have to go to the more fringe of whatever is normal at the time. And because MAGA is mainstream, MAGA has captured culture, it's captured government. People are like, how do I stand out? How do I get more clicks when everyone is talking about the same stuff? Well, you go to the fringes. And you've seen what's happened to Candace Owens. You've seen it. And I would consider her woke right. Because she is inserting, a lot of things, as you probably already know. But what she's doing is she's injecting the world with esoteric knowledge. Esoteric knowledge is hidden knowledge that they don't want you to know. The same thing the left does. The left will tell you they created the system to keep you subjugated, to keep you poor. This hidden knowledge is what we know, and if everyone only knew what we know, then they would all be socialists. They don't want you to know this. Candace Owens is doing something very similar. The Jews don't want you to know this. Charlie Kirk's death was really this. They don't want you to know. She's doing the exact same thing the woke left is doing, and people are falling for it. I call her the Jerry Springer of politics, because she's doing the exact same thing. She's bringing to the forefront this filth, these conspiracies, these just really nasty things about people, a lot of them who were her friends, like Charlie Kirk. And people like Nick Fuentes, this guy who does something very similar. This is what they're doing. And they've gotten a little crew of them. Some are Christian nationalists, some are claimed to be paleo-conservatives, like Pat Buchanan, some claim to be. There's a whole range of things, but they operate to the right of what is patriotic and conservative. And many don't even believe in the Constitution. They say that liberalism, which is what our Constitution is based off of, has failed because now we have too many freedoms. So we have to get rid of some parts of the Constitution. We have to get rid of some freedoms. We have to get rid of things like freedom of speech, the same exact thing the left is doing, because we have too much of it, and that's why the world is where it's at. Where they're completely wrong is on two subjects. Number one, that this has to do with skin color or race or ethnicity. Because America is an idea. It was an idea laid forth by the founders that you can have a nation where the government serves man and not the other way around. It was a nation founded on the principles of philosophers that came before them, like John Locke, and social contract theory, where we allow the government to rule as long as they do what is good for us. Where every individual has liberty to do whatever they want, to go after whatever dreams they want, to excel as much as they want. The left says that that's what created this oligarchy or this system of oppression. The right says the exact same thing, except it doesn't use oligarchy. It mostly uses oppression. The other thing they got wrong is that freedom is what did it. That's incorrect. What made people go so far to the left is a lack of religion, Christian morals. The Judeo-Christian values that have been with this country since its founding have gone down a lot. The amount of churchgoers has steadily declined since the 1960s. Now, I do agree that progressivism has an inherent problem because you cannot stop progressing. If you stop progressing, you become conservative because you're trying to conserve something, and that will diminish the entire point of calling yourself a progressive. So you can't just stop, and this is the fundamental problem that these people have. Progressives can never stop progressing, otherwise they become conservatives. So what they do is they read some philosopher, you take your pick, and they have to change things up for the modern world. They have to change something. They have to bring it into modern settings. Critical race theory, DEI. These are all things that came from things like affirmative action, the civil rights movement. And you can't ever stop progressing. This is why the left has gone so crazy, because they're progressing so damn fast that they don't even know where they are. They don't have a relation with objective reality. And then you have this thing called postmodernism, which unfortunately goes hand in hand with this, but what it does is it rejects all objective facts and reality. You had modernism and you had postmodernism, whereas modernism will say let's use facts, let's use logic, let's use science. Postmodernism rejects all of that. So now you have progressive ideology that has gotten a hold of this postmodernism, and this is why you see excessive narcissism on the left. They know what's right, and if everyone would just do what they said, then the world would be a better place. It'd be a perfect utopia. They think they have the hidden knowledge in their head. They think they know the right way to structure society, and they have to impose that on all of us dumb, conservative, classic liberal, anyone who is not left to the left, especially far left. They think we're some Stone Age people that don't understand change. But what they don't understand is that they have been brainwashed into thinking that they are the center of the universe. This is why they believe that they can be any gender. They can be a cat. They can be a baby. They can be a child of any age. When you have extreme narcissism, because you are the center of the world and your lived experience is all that matters, and if I say anything against your lived experience, then I'm being a bigot, a misogynist, racist, homophobic, oppressive. And that's one of the biggest problems with the left. By the way, I'm just passing Disneyland right here. Now, the woke right will say something very similar, that if only these people can see what we see, if only they would do what we say, then we would have a perfect society. So you have to be extremely careful of the woke left as well as the woke right, because the woke right is trying to institute something that is not American, that does not follow the Constitution. In fact, neoliberals say, again, that liberalism is what is ruining society, and that we have to get rid of some of the freedoms that we have. But that's not true whatsoever. There's a motorcycle that just pulled up next to me, so I said what's up to him. So this is an ideology of resentment, an ideology of hate, an ideology of collectivism, and you have to wholeheartedly reject it, because they will slowly give you a litmus test and say, if you are with us, then you will support this. If you're a Christian, then you have to support Christian nationalism. Wrong. Christian nationalism is not American, and if you don't know what it is, it's basically collectivizing people into giving the power to a Christian prince, a Christian version of the Pope. Literally, it's the exact same thing. It's a Pope for Christianity who determines what you can and can't do. They want things like morality courts, okay? Morality courts that you can be sent to where they can say, you did this wrong, you showed too much skin, you listen to this kind of music, whatever they deem is moral or immoral, they can instill it, they can force people to do it, and if not, then you get punishment. Now, there's a guy named Stephen Wolfe who wrote a book called The Case for Christian Nationalism, and it's very clear-cut what they want. This is not much different than Sharia law. Sharia law also has their version of a morality court. They have morality police who are policing the streets. This is why you see if a woman is not wearing her burqa the right way, they can hit her, they can fine her, they can imprison her. If a woman is out without her husband, without a note from her husband, they can do the same. So it's a removal of your rights for your own benefit, for safety. This is not biblical in any sense whatsoever. Jesus never talked about anything like this. These are men who want power and who want to have a position in the new system that's as high as they can get. These are all narcissists that are trying to collectivize you and convince you that they need the power because only they and their way of thinking can save you, because they have, again, hidden knowledge that you don't have. So listen to these people. You listen to people like Candace Owens, like Nick Fuentes, just to name a few. Those are probably the most visual ones, or the most popular ones. We also have Christian nationalists like Aaron McIntyre, the Timu, Matt Walsh, Wannabe, Joe Webben, and a lot more. But these people will do the exact same thing. They'll tell you, again, let's collectivize, let's all band together because there's an enemy we have to face together. And we need you to give us power, and we need to change the system of government, and we need to take some of your rights, but trust us, it's for your own good. Never. It never is. This is it's a Machiavellian way of viewing the world. A Machiavellian way of viewing the world is that whatever gets you power is okay. So if it brings you more power, but it hurts people, or it brings you more power, but some people die, it's all for the good cause. It's all worth it. That means hunger, death, real oppression, imprisonment of those who think differently. It's okay. That's the exact same thing the left says. They want to jail us for freedom of speech. Now, these are all leftist ideologies that are manifesting themselves on the right as well. There's no different. The exact same strategies the left uses, the right has taken over. There are even people now that are saying that Karl Marx wasn't such a bad writer, that he got a lot of things right. There are other people, this one specifically, a Christian nationalist, who says, that we need to take their strategies and implement them because they did such a good job. So do not listen to these people. When you see someone that's trying to make you think a certain way, their way, because they have hidden knowledge that you need to know, and if only you knew that knowledge, then things would be better. If only they had control of the system, then things would be better. It never works, it never has, it never will. Humans are independent people. Jesus never spoke about collectivizing society like this. He talked about Christianity, and none of these things are Christian. So just be aware when you are listening to people on the internet spew these things. They are doing it for clicks, they are doing it for clout, they are doing it for money. and they are doing it for power. So be on the lookout for that. Incredibly dangerous.